All right, so once again, we're looking at toxic colleagues in power suit. Like I was saying that I have worked with different teams, business leaders, and professionals across various industries. And I have seen firsthand how toxic behavior, especially when it comes to those in the positions of authority, can actually poison workplace culture and paralyze progress. So today we're going to, in this family, in our community, I have conversations that people shy away from. I have conversations that takes place in whispers. I discuss it openly here. So today we're going to call that attitude, that habit, that behavior. We're going to call it out. We're going to unpack it. We're going to learn how to deal with it strategically. In recent years, we have seen a rise in workplace complaints related to poor leadership, psychological safety, and toxic environment. You know what I realized? Some of the most harmful behaviors in this workplace, they don't come from your peers. They come from people in power suits, your supervisor, your team lead, even executives. And these individuals, whether male or female, they often hide their toxicity behind their charisma, behind their competence, or behind the company result. But the damage they do to the morale, retention, and mental health of every other member of the organization is very real. So if you've ever second-guessed yourself after a meeting, you dread interactions with a senior colleague or felt silenced or invisible, you're in the right room. You are in the right room. All right. So at the end of this conversation today, you'll be able to understand what workplace toxicity looks like, especially when it is coming from the top. You'll be able to recognize common signs and subtle red flags of toxic colleagues in leadership. Most importantly, I'll be able to equip and empower you with practical strategies to protect yourself and maintain your professionalism. Then you know how to navigate systems of power and when to escalate, document, or disengage. You will leave this webinar with clarity, guys. You will leave here with confidence and tools to deal with toxic power dynamics at work. Please, our sessions are usually interactive and engaging, so I encourage participation. If there's time for during time for question, raise up your hand or mute your microphone. Feel free to chat in the room. In case you are joining me for the very first time, my name is Dr. Shogo. I'm a peak performance coach. I help people amplify their results. I'm a corporate trainer. I've consulted for organizations cutting across banks, oil and gas, telecoms, aviation, shipping, just to name a few. I'm a member of Forbes Coaches Council. I serve as personal advisor to high net worth people, captains of industries, business owners, and any individual that want to become a better version of themselves. I'm a conference speaker, and in my little life, I have spoken in over 15 countries. I'm a life and business strategist. I have consulted for over 500 small businesses across Africa. Media mentions. My thoughts have been published on Forbes, I've been profiled on Channels TV, Kenya Television Network, Botswana TV, Botswana Radio, Imgini Radio, NTA, The Sun, The Guardian, Vanguard, just to name few. Something. All right. So let's start with understanding toxicity in the workplace. Toxicity in the workplace. Because what you don't define, you cannot find. You want to ask yourself, or we want to ask ourselves, what actually makes a workplace toxic? Because that is the question. The quality of the question you ask influences the quality of the answers you will get. So because if you don't know what makes a workplace toxic, then you can't identify it. You can't protect yourself. So a toxic workplace isn't just the one with pressure or high expectation. A toxic workplace is an environment where negativity, manipulation, fear, and psychological stress are the norm. Like I said, we're right. So I'll take it slowly again. I said a toxic workplace is an environment where negativity, manipulation, fear, and psychological stress are the norm. And a lot of times, this is often caused or enabled by people in the position of power. And because if you've stayed with me with your spirit, soul, and body during throughout this series, I've mentioned and taught you something about pattern recognition. So in every organization that is toxic, there are patterns. There are patterns. So when we look at toxicity in the workplace, it refers to patterns of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll give you 5 patterns. So some patterns in the workplace that points out that this place is toxic. Number 1, manipulative communication. Number 2, undermining of others. If undermining each other or one other is the top of the day in that organization, it's a sign of toxic environment. Disrespect disguised as tough love. Disrespect disguised as tough love. That is also a toxic workplace. Favoritism and exclusion. So you realize some people are the ones that know what is happening in the organization. Some people are total strangers. Some people are included when things are happening. Some people are intentionally excluded when things are happening, even though they needed to be in the know. All these are expressions of a toxic workplace. Bullying marks as leadership. Maybe sometime I'm going to host a conversation on bullying. I'm going to host a conversation on bullying, and well, I said maybe I will look at it my schedule very well. Maybe we'll have a conversation on workplace bullying and sexual harassment. Sexual harassment in the workplace and bullying. I might talk about that. It's important that people don't talk about it. We will talk about it. I'm on a mission. So bullying marks as leadership. All these are expressions of toxic workplaces. You know, there's a statistics in 2023 by MIT. It says that toxic work culture is 10.4 times more powerful than compensation in predicting employee attrition. I'll say that again. Toxic workplace culture is 10.4 times more powerful than compensation in predicting employee attrition. So let me tell you something, guys. People don't leave bad jobs. People leave bad bosses. So I say people don't quit organizations. People quit people. You quit because somebody is frustrating you. Haven't you seen sometimes that a particular leader leaves, a good leader, and 4, 5, 7 people, they live with him? So it's very important that we understand these things. So let's look at common traits. Let's look at common traits of toxic colleagues in leadership roles. Common traits of toxic colleagues in leadership role, because you cannot change what you have not identified. If you cannot recognize it, you won't even understand that this is a toxic behavior. A lot of times, the title of our webinar says, toxic leaders, you know what they do? They often wear power suits, they wear stilettos, they wear suit, they wear tie, they wear cover, they wear cover shoe, they possess influence. They don't even always yell. They don't even always insult. Sometimes they may smile with you, but in the process, they are slicing your confidence. So let's look at some red flags to watch out 4 common traits of toxic colleagues in leadership roles. Number 1, they are credit thieves. They are credit thieves. So these are the people that they take, you share an idea with them, they discard the idea, they run down the idea, then they take your idea into the meeting, they repackage it a little bit, and they present it to upper management as their own. And you're wondering, this was what I just spoke about with boss. So that's a toxic behavior. Number 2, they are micromanagers. Micromanagers with no empathy. They monitor your every move. They leave no room for autonomy, and they still blame you when something goes wrong. And these were the guys that made you make mistakes because they were perpetually on your neck, or you did what they told you to do in the process of micromanaging. Then it went wrong. Then they withdraw for you to just take the blame. Number 3, the gaslighters. This is a full topic on its own. The gaslighters. These are the colleagues, bosses. They deny the things they said. They twist facts. They make you doubt your memory or your competence. I never said that. Are you okay? Can we relate with anything I have said so far? Can you unmute yourself, please, and use the chat room as well? Remember, this is interactive. Can anyone relate with these illustrations?
Yes, we can.
Oh, thank you. So we're still looking at their traits. Then the gatekeepers. The gatekeepers. These are the colleagues. That's number 4. They withhold information or block access to key opportunities. They block access to key people. They will tell you something like, you weren't invited because it wasn't relevant to you. Can you imagine? Number 5, the politician. Oh, guys, we had workplace politics discussion yesterday. It was hot. It was fire. It was fierce and fiery. It's already on YouTube. I will share the link. Please remind me for the benefit of people that missed it so that you can watch it in full and become office smart. So number 5 is the politician. They are all charm in public, but very manipulative behind closed doors. So they flatter the people upward, but to the people downward, they squeeze their neck, they press their neck. A Gallup report said that 75% of workers who voluntarily leave their jobs, they do so because of their bosses, not the position itself. So we looked at 5 red flags or common traits of toxic colleague in leadership roles. There are more than that, but I just decided to crystallize it into 5. Let's quickly run through it again. Number 1, credit thieves. Number 2, micromanagers with no empathy. Number 3, the gaslighters. Number 4, the gatekeepers. And number 5, the politician. And you see, people also confuse being firm with being a firm leader with having a toxic behavior. No, they are not the same thing. That someone is firm on you does not make him toxic, because this conversation must be balanced, my friends. There are also employees and subordinates that are indisciplined. So that someone is firm, you want to term the person as toxic. No, it's not the same thing. So let's quickly look at let's draw a parallel between being a firm leader and a toxic leader, so that you also know where you fall as leaders. So make a line on your two columns. On your left-hand side, write firm leader. On your left-hand side, write firm leader. On your right-hand side, write toxic leader. So let's look at 5 traits of each. So let's look at firm leader first. So under firm leader, number 1, a firm leader gives clear expectations. So someone giving you clear expectations is not toxic. Number 2, they offer constructive feedback. Some people also don't like to be corrected. That someone is offering you constructive feedback does not make the person toxic. Number 3, they challenge you to grow. The question you should ask yourself, if someone is on your neck and it's for your growth, is this person telling me for myself who is going to be better at the end of the day? Who is going to gain mastery at the end of the day? Is it me or him? Is he saying it because of himself or because of me? If the answer is because of you, then embrace it. A firm leader challenges you to grow. Number 4, a firm leader leads by example. And the last one, a firm leader focuses on the work. So let's look at toxic leader. Let's go to the toxic leader column. You know, of course, it's almost like opposite of everything we've said. So if a firm leader gives clear expectations, a toxic leader, they keep moving the goalpost, and they move the goalpost without notice. So they tell you to do this. Before you know it, oh, we have changed, but we have changed the plan. This is what we are doing. How can you be doing that? But you were the one that told me to do this. Oh, this is what we are doing now. And they did not tell you that this is what we are doing now. All right. So they move the goalpost without notice. We talked about constructive feedback on the side of the firm leader. On the toxic leader, they actually use feedback as a weapon to demoralize you. All in the name of feedback. They will tear you down. They will work. They will batter your self-esteem. If you have not worked on your personal self-esteem as a personal assignment, I mean, you know, sometimes verbal abuse, emotional abuse can be more dangerous than physical abuse. So this is what they do. This is what they use their this is what they use their feedback to do. They use it to demoralize. Then we said a firm leader challenges you to grow, but a toxic leader competes with you. They crush your confidence. Haven't you seen leaders? They are richer than you, they are better than you, they are richer than you, they are older than you, they are better than you. Yet, the small light that you carry is threatening them. Why? Yesterday I was talking about witchcraft. That witchcraft is not people that fly at night anymore with brooms. Now we have people with witchcraft. They wear stilettos, they wear cover shoes, they wear suit, they wear tie. Witchcraft in the workplace. So they just compete for you for no just cause. They went to better school than you, yet they're still competing with you. Evil spirit. If you're like that and you're in this meeting, you must stop. Because even if nobody tells you the truth, you know the truth, you know who you are. And for some of them, they are damaged. They are like that because of probably somebody tortured them when they were younger. You hold yourself to heal yourself. Every damaged adult should heal themselves. You are malfunctioning. And you're affecting the overall productivity of the organization. Then we talked about leading by example. But a toxic leader, no, they say one thing and they do another thing. That's what a toxic leader does. I said a firm leader focuses on work, but a toxic leader makes it personal and unnecessarily emotional. We have seen that. So, I mean, this is how it appears in the workplace. It might appear something like a firm boss, a firm leader might say something like, oh, your report needs some restructuring. Let's sit down together and go through it together. That is a firm leader. But you know what a toxic boss will say? A toxic boss might say something like, oh, did you even try? I don't even have time to clean up your mess. So when you look at the two illustrations I've given you, one is leading you, the other one is emasculating you. Which one are you? Be truthful to yourself. The highest form of deceit on the surface of the heart. The highest form of deceit on the surface of the earth is self-deceit. So if people are praising you, you should tell yourself, do I truthfully deserve this praise as a leader, or is just eye service? Are you building people up as a leader, or you are tearing people down? Don't forget, our names, everybody's name is like a key. It can either open a door or close a door. There are people that work in an organization and probably after retirement or resigning or something or relocating or whatever it is that happened, if you go there and you mention their name or someone's name is similar, they will open door for you. They will grant you access. they will receive you with peace of mind. And the flip side, there are names that have worked in an organization. May you be unfortunate that your surname is like their surname and you are not related in any way. They will say, no, we don't want you. That's how powerful a name is because of how you have operated when you were in service. We should do better. We can all do better. The biggest room on the surface of the heart is the room for improvement. That you are there. Nothing is a right in this life. The only right you have is right to life, right to oxygen, right to live. That you occupy a position is a privilege. Use it well. Stop oppressing people in the workplace. Some people's high blood pressure situation is because of someone in an office. For some of them, is that your joy? And you will still go to the house, you will lift up holy hands to praise God. You better have the fear of God. You go to the mosque, you will do 5 times prayer a day, but you are evil. Please, let's step up our games. So I'll tell you, I created a character that I have called Charming Saboteur. So this guy, 1 second. I'm checking the chat room. Somebody said, I have experienced the credit thief. Yeah, there are many. Patricia, I will decide after. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to give an example. So let me introduce you to a character that, because I consult for a lot of organizations, and sometimes when a need assessment test is done, we just realize that this kind of person is in this department and they have been separated apart. They have been set apart for coaching. So I call it the charming saboteur. The charming saboteur. That means someone that sabotages. So you see this guy, or this woman, it can be a male or female. They are highly liked by the management. Their dressing is impeccable. They are always smiling and saying the right things. But underneath, these people, they have their favorite, they manipulate team members, they withhold credit, and they punish anything punishable and not punishable. So let's say Tolu is a mid-level HR manager in a bank, had a boss who always praised her during leadership meetings, but constantly set her up for failure behind the scenes, canceling her meetings without notice, assigning impossible deadlines, and later saying, I was rooting for her, but she couldn't handle pressure. She didn't burn out. She was burned. Burned by who? Burned by her boss. So this type of toxic colleague thrives because they know how to appear competent and pleasant to the right people while sabotaging others who pose a threat to their image. I want to conclude this particular slide by saying toxicity wears many suits. Sometimes it is wearing Prada, sometimes it carries a briefcase and a big smile. Sometimes it's wearing a black stiletto or a red stiletto. But no matter how well dressed, its impact is always the same. Damage to people, damage to productivity, and damage to potentials. I want you to ask yourself, are you in that shoes? Step up your game. Some of you, your childhood trauma that you did not recover from, you pour it on everybody in the workplace. But because you are functioning in a place of unconscious incompetence, you don't even know that you are malfunctioning because you don't know you have a problem. I can't remember which of the webinars we had that I said sometimes pastors have caused a lot of damage. Yes, in people's lives. Pastors, imams in the mosque, they have caused a lot of damage. Because some of the advice you take to your pastor, some of the situations you take to your imam looking for solutions, you don't need a religious leader. There's a difference between a religious leader, a therapist, a coach, a counselor, and a mentor. So you need to know what you take to which per time. I'm a strong advocate that whether you are a pastor or you are an imam, you need a basic certificate course in counseling. At least the basic. Because, guys, everything is not spiritual. God gave us a brain for a reason. There are things that you're just supposed to use your brain to figure out. Haven't you noticed? A lot of times for people, when you relocate or probably you go to Western world to live there for 3 months and everything, some of the things you pray for in Africa, you don't need to pray. It's working. Let us think. All right. Before we proceed, I would like to quickly talk about our conference. We have a conference this weekend. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped up. I mean, the excitement, the energy is building up from ideas to execution conference. If you have not registered for this conference or if you're just hearing about this conference, guys, you don't want to miss this event. There are events and there are defining events. This is a defining event. This is not just a conference. This is an encounter. A lot of organizations, a lot of individuals, you have ideas, but you don't even understand how to demystify your idea. You don't know how to move your idea, even as a leader, from your head into the head of the people you are leading. And that is one of the reasons you are having problems in your department, in your team. You don't know how to translate and transfer your vision. You don't know how to share it effectively. A lot of times there's a disconnect between having an idea and executing an idea. So this conference is coming to fill that gap. And for anyone that care to listen, I have been saying that this is not your regular conference. This is not where you just come and hear another talk and you're leaving confused more than you came in. This is not where you come for panel discussion and people are crossing their leg, sipping tea and water, and they're talking. No, there's no panel discussion. No panel discussion at this event. Everything is going to be practical. Everything is disruptive. You have to be in that room. You don't want to be told. You want to experience it. You don't want to be part of the people that are watching things happen. I am not part of the people that are making things happen. So this conference, the regular seat is 40,000. The VIP is 100,000. Unfortunately, the 100,000 seats, they are sold out. We have just one slot left for the VIP seat. So, guys, if a decision maker, you might want to use your office to pay for 5 people, for 10 people to attend this event. Please invest in your people. Like I said yesterday, in learning and development, there's something we say that if you don't train them, don't blame them. If you don't train them, don't blame them. This Saturday, opportunities are not seen with the eyes. Opportunities are seen with the mind. I'm giving you an opportunity for you to experience a disruption and create a disruption in yourself as an individual and as an organization in the second half of this year. All right. The VIP, the benefits of VIP, but really, I don't need to talk much about it because, like I said, it's full. So it's not as if we are looking for crowd. We are giving opportunity for people to become part of value. House is almost full. So it's your choice. Life will always present choices. It is your decision to call the shot. So let's quickly look at power suit. When authority turns abusive. When authority turns abusive. All right, maybe before we do that, let me come back here. Permit me to quickly share the registration link in case you don't have it. Let me look for registration link. All right, for the benefit of people that are seeing it for the first time. Yeah, so let me quickly copy. Right. Then go back to the webinar. Yeah. So you have the registration link in the chat room. So please be smart. Take your slot before it is sold out. Last minute rush doesn't always work. So you have the link for the webinar for the conference on Saturday. Just register. If you have any issues, we'll post a number that you can reach that will solve your issues. Right. Please confirm that you can see my slides, because me, I can't see my slides at the moment. All right. Okay, let's see. So let me reshare because I can't see. And if I can't see, how do I move to the next slide? I'm going to rush this class. So I'll do this again. Okay, now I can see my slides. Right. So let's look at power suit. When authority turns abusive, let's quickly have that heart-to-heart hard discussion. So imagine everyone walking into a boardroom, and everyone is dressed well, wearing their suits, ties, cover shoe, that branded bag, that stiletto, that tie, everywhere. Everyone is just designer shoes. But behind the polished exterior, behind that professional smile, lies tension in the faces of people, lies fear, lies power plays. I know we can relate with it because most of us are in the corporate world. Now, here's the hard truth I want you to know. Toxicity becomes more dangerous when it wears a title. So that's why at times we don't pray that bad people should get into power, whether politics at government level in context of country or at leadership level in organizations. So this particular conversation on this particular slide, I want to expose how authority, when unchecked, it becomes a tool of abuse, and how people suffer in silence because they don't want to rock the boat. So let's look at the influence of title and status in team dynamics. The influence of title and status on team dynamics. The moment someone is a manager, look at that word, manager, or head of department, or team lead, or even CEO, we all know it in the corporate world. Their words carry more weight. Their body language gets interpreted differently. Their approval becomes a form of currency, and their disapproval is a potential career death sentence on some people. So one thing I have realized is that in the workplace, titles create a power gap. Titles create a power gap. And this gap is where that fear, silencing, and control can thrive. So let me give you an example. Blessing, a high-performing executive assistant, she worked for a director who would ignore her in front of others. Yet, He is micromanaging her through WhatsApp messages at 1 a.m. So when she raised it in HR, the first thing HR asked was, are you sure you are not just being sensitive? Oga, Chief, our boss, Mr. Frank, is a highly respected executive. The wisdom tip I want you to know in this illustration is that the higher your title, the greater your responsibility to protect, not intimidate those beneath you. Let me say that again. Remember, we are learning now. The higher your title, the greater your responsibility to protect, not intimidate the people that are below you. But sadly, power often becomes a weapon in the workplace, not a shield. So let's look at how toxic leaders manipulate systems and people. How toxic leaders manipulate systems and people. Most times, toxic leaders, they don't always break rules. They bend systems. They leverage hierarchy. They exploit office politics, and they build alliances to insulate themselves. Let me show you how they do it. Number one, selective transparency. Selective transparency. So this is what they do. They're not transparent to everybody. They share information with their favorites, and they staff orders of context. So confusion becomes their control. So let's say we have a team of 10 people. The team lead, the leader, has 5 favorites. The other 5, you don't like them. And there's supposed to be a meeting. So you tell just the 5 people. And because the 5 people are your allies, they probably assume that you have told the other 5 or everybody knows about it. So 5 people shows up for the meeting. Then the remaining 5, they did not show up. You write them a query. They're saying they don't know. You say, then your argument is that, but these other 5 people, they know. How did they know? That's selective transparency. It is wickedness. Just because you want to victimize those 5 people. If you are someone doing that, it is witchcraft. Stop. It is not good. Stop. You are sowing seed of discord among brethren. God does not even like it. Anyways, number 2, divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. So they play team members against each other so as to avoid unity and questioning. So he said you were the one who messed up the report, not me. You know, everything goes up and down like that. Divide and conquer is a strategy that these guys use, toxic leaders. That is how they manipulate systems and people. Let me quickly. I'm going to put on this because, you know, with me, and I'm going to stop sharing for now. Then I'm going to put this thing on pause. So we're talking about divide. We're talking about divide and conquer. So they play team members against each other to avoid unity and to avoid questioning. That's the key word there. Yeah. So number 3, public praise, private criticism. Public praise, private criticism. So they give compliments in meetings, but they cut you down in your emails. And when they criticize you or they query you, they copy senior leadership for the effect to be stronger. So they say something like, I expected better from you, especially at your level. I'm sure there's somebody here that uses that statement to his subordinate, to a subordinate. Think about it. Number 4, performance review manipulation. So they sabotage appraisals using subtle wordings like does not always demonstrate leadership presence, even when you have led every project. So that is a performance review manipulation. I have given you 4 highlights of how toxic leader manipulates people and systems. Number 1, I said selective transparency. Number 2, I said divide and conquer. Number 3, I said public praise, private criticism. Number 4, I said performance review manipulation. There's real world insight in a 2022 workplace survey by SHRM, Society for Human Resource Management. It says that over 38% of employees, you know what they do. Over 28% of employees, their manager has used their authority to intimidate them at one point or the other. So 38% said their manager has used their position to either intimidate or humiliate them. And yet, guess what? Only 1 out of 5 make a report of it. So let's look at subtle signs. Make 2 columns. Let's look at subtle signs. Subtle signs versus overt signs of toxic power players. So let's look at that. So on your left hand, write subtle signs. On your right hand, write overt, O-V-E-R-T, overt signs. So let's look at that. So subtle signs. Under subtle signs, let's look at 5. Under subtle signs, number 1, they delay approval so as to stall your progress. That's number 1. Number 2, overloading you with work. Then they accuse you. Number 3, they withhold praise or visibility for you. Number 4, always excluding you from strategic discussions. And number 5, blaming you indirectly in emails. So these are subtle signs. But overt signs, it means direct one. Number 1, yelling in meetings. Number 2, public shaming or name calling. Number 3, threatening your job security directly. You just lose your job now. Number 4, micromanaging your every move. And number 5, outright lies or defamation. I know all this that we have explained, they have emotional impact on employees. They have emotional impact on our team members. So you start to feel like you're not good enough. You second guess every decision you're making. You go to work, you feel exhausted, not just only physically, but you feel exhausted emotionally. You are shrinking. Whether it is subtle, whether it is overt, one thing I want everyone listening to us right now to know is that subtle abuse is still abuse. Silence doesn't make it safe, it makes it systemic. Silence doesn't make it safe, it makes it systemic. A lady once told me she was managing a multi-million T-shillings project, but she was never allowed to present it. Can you imagine? So our boss always said, oh, you're not polished enough. I will handle the stakeholders. Yet she did all the work. So she left after 2 years because she felt invisible and broken. I want to conclude this slide by saying that the power suit should never be a shield for abuse. The power suit should never be a shield for abuse. Titles don't make people better. They just make their character more visible. You know, just the way we talk about money. Money doesn't make people change. When your money comes, real money amplifies who you are. So that person that you felt was humble when he did not have money, but when money came, he became proud. That pride has always been there, but the pride did not find a proper way to express itself because money has not come. Same thing with title. Titles don't make us better. Title amplifies who we are. So let's look at impact of toxic power players. So let's look at impact of toxic power players on teams and culture. Because these toxic players we have been talking about, they just don't damage individuals. They infect entire teams. They poison culture and they cripple organizational progress. which for me is the most painful part. It's just like a drop of ink in a glass of water. Their influence will just spread silently until everything is cloudy. So let's quickly look at it. Number one, impact of toxic power players on teams and culture. Number one is psychological and emotional effect. Toxic leaders, they can mess up your confidence. They mess up people's confidence. They shrink their self-worth, and they create places. They create workplaces filled with anxiety instead of ambition. So, what does it feel? You might want to ask me. Oh, so Doc, I'm sorry. I want to add someone. There's a request here. I told you, don't know how to multitask. Yeah. All right. So what does it feel like to work under a toxic leader? Number one, you dread Monday mornings. You dread Monday mornings. Do you know that there's a statistics that says that the highest number of heart attacks happens every Monday mornings, on Monday mornings, because people are going to a job that they dread. People are going to a job that they don't like. People are going to a job that they are not passionate about, but maybe because the job is paying their bills, they just have to show up. So you dread Monday mornings, what it feels like to work under toxic leader. You dread Monday mornings. That's number one. Number two, you triple check your emails, internal emails, out of fear, not out of professionalism, because you don't want to lose any mails and you don't want anybody to query you and shout on you again. So you are checking like obsessive compulsive OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. So you stay quiet. Number three, you stay quiet in meetings, even when you have value to add, because you don't know what you will say that can be used against you. So it's better to keep quiet. Then you cry in the restroom at work or during on your way home when you are commuting home. You are crying. So all these are expressions that you are working with a toxic leader. Mental Health America, there's a report that says that 83% of employees, they feel emotionally drained by a toxic work environment. I mean, that's huge. 83. That's in America. So now imagine Africa. So confidence is not always lost in one blow. It dies in silence, one ignored voice at a time. Myself and MC Lina, we had a beautiful conversation yesterday on Instagram. You can catch up with it on Instagram. We were talking about confidence cure. Just the ways maybe some people they have a confidence app inbuilt inside them when they were born, but confidence is developed. But you know, if something is developed, it can also be killed. So there are workplaces that have killed people's confidence, battered their self-esteem, simply because of just one individual. What? What is it? We should do better. Yeah. Lorna, I will share my contact after the session. Yeah, I'll share my, so from time to time during our conversations, I just pop in into the chat room to be sure that probably no one has dropped a comment or a question. So let's look at number two. Remember, we're looking at impact of toxic power players. Number one, psychological and emotional effect. Let's quickly look at number two, reduced productivity and increased turnover. For people that are not in HR, turnover means people are resigning. So reduced productivity and increased turnover, because when people are working on eggshell, they can't work in their purpose. So this is what happens. Employees stop thinking creatively because they are afraid of being judged. Team members cannot focus on survival. They can't focus on strategy. They focus just on survival. So, and strategy is what brings productivity, is what brings progress, it's what brings innovation. So team members just focus on survival. They're just in survival mode. Like I said, going to work every Monday because it's paying your bills, but your creativity is not being harnessed. So meetings are spent managing egos and not making progress. Talented people quietly exit, while the ones that are mediocres, they stay and play it safe. Maybe people that finish with they graduated with a pass, they graduated with a third class, they don't have options. So they just stay in that system. There's a Gallup study that found that toxic workplaces cost US economy over $223 billion in turnover over 5 years. People don't just leave jobs, they flee environments. Can you imagine 223 billion in 5 years? Let me tell you something, guys. In workplace, me, I tell people as a consultant that one toxic person can do more damage than 10 underperformers. One toxic person can do more damage than 10 underperformers. Let's look at number 3, silent sabotage and gaslighting. Silent sabotage and gaslighting. This is another expression because toxic power players, they don't confront you openly. They don't confront you directly. They operate in silence. They move people to move you. They rewrite the narrative so that when you speak up, you look like the problem. How do they sabotage you? For example, they leave your name off. They leave your name off email threads. You're not in the loop. They give you a task without giving you full details. Then they blame you for getting it wrong. They tell HR that you are too emotional when you express discomfort. All these are expressions of gaslighting. So, Doc, because I don't want to assume that it's everybody that understands how gaslighting works. They tell you stuff like, oh, I never said that. I did say, whereas they said it, they say, okay, that's not what I mean. That wasn't what I was referring to. Maybe you misunderstood. You are taking things too personally. And you start doubting yourself because phrases like this, it distorts your reality. And you know what? It makes you doubt your instinct. And it kills your creativity in the process. All these are gas lighting traits. So I want you to know that gaslighting is not just a psychological manipulation. It's a strategic self-preservation by toxic power holders. You know, as leaders, we're supposed to advocate for the people that we're leading. Gaslighters, they are advocating for themselves, so, and they are using you and throwing you under the bus. That's what I'm trying to say. Number 4, long-term consequences on organizational culture. The true cost of toxic power isn't just in today's project. It actually affects the culture years down the line. So here is what, let me show you what toxic leadership creates over time. Number 1, a culture of fear, not innovation. Number 2, a team of follow orders, not visions. Number 3, a cycle of dysfunction where abused people become abusers. This is where I was telling you that people are damaged. Abused people become abusers. Number 4, a reputation in industry as a place to avoid. Let me explain a little bit a cycle of dysfunction where abused people become abusers. So someone below you is complaining. Instead of you to of a certain thing, it could be as trivial as a chair. Then you say something like, when we were at your level, that's how we used it. So you people too should use it like that. Abba, it is wickedness. It is wickedness. So when toxicity is tolerated at the top, it trickles down and drowns the future. And the people that don't want the trickle to soak them, that's why they quit. Because it's powerful. Please, between house and home, Mondays to Friday, where do we spend most of our time? We spend most of our times in the workplace. So imagine if your leadership is toxic, and for some of you, it has actually infected you. You are not aware. Ha! It's as bad as God help me. It's as bad as it has soaked you up. It's affecting your relationship with your spouse. It has soaked you up. It's affecting your relationship with your children. You better quit that job. You better quit that job. It's affecting your relationship with your siblings. It's affecting your relationship with your parents. For me, I don't find it hard to talk about hard conversations. What I'm telling you, nobody have that liver, that gut to talk about it comfortably. I've not just been around, I've been around for more than a while. You need to wake up. You are ruining everything. Influenced by your workplace. There's a proverb in my place that a goat, no, yes, that a goat that walks with a dog will eat shit. A goat that walks with a dog will eat shit. You know, sometimes if you see those local dogs, they eat excreta. Yeah. So a goat walking with a dog will eat shit. So if you're tolerating toxic leadership and you have tolerated it for 10 years, how will it not rub off on you? How will it not reflect in other things you are doing outside work? Think about it. How now? So toxic power is not just a leadership flaw. It is a cultural cancer. If you leave it untreated, it will spread. It will suffocate brilliance and bankrupt potential. So let me rush why people stay silent in the workplace. 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 Let's look at that. Silence is not weakness. In the context of our in the context of our current in the current of our in the context of our current discussion, silence is not weakness. Sometimes people keep quiet for self-preservation. People keep quiet for self-preservation. But we need to be honest. People see the problems. They don't keep quiet because they don't see the problem. They keep quiet because they see it clearly. But they know that it can cost them if they speak up. Victimization, demotion, suspension, outright sack without benefits. So let's look at the reasons, the real reasons people swallow pain instead of speaking truth in toxic workplace environment. Number one, fear of retaliation or being labeled difficult. So have you ever heard this? Be careful, if you speak up, they'll blacklist you. Yes, we must have heard it somewhere, here or the other. So, and I wonder at times, are we in a secret cult? Are we in a secret society? Fear of retaliation or being labeled difficult, that's number one. So you have to be careful. Or they know something like, you know how she is, always complaining. Don't be too emotional, just play the game. See, this fear I'm talking about is not imaginary, it is earned. People have seen it happen. So for example, someone raised a concern in a team meeting, and guess what? The person was excluded from future strategy sessions. I'm sure you must have experienced it if you have been in corporate world for more than a while. An analyst, for example, mentioned poor leadership in an anonymous survey, and suddenly he got a performance warning. Let's look at a scenario where a junior staffer asked HR for help and because he asked HR for help, they found themselves transferred or pushed out within months. So this fear we're talking about is not about being wrong. It is about being punished for being right. And that is why people bite their tongues. It's not because they are weak, it's because they can't afford the fallout. Number two, office politics and favoritism. Office politics and favoritism. It is what it is. We looked at this extensively yesterday. The video is up on YouTube. I will share the video in the chat box towards the end of this class. It is what it is. Sometimes speaking up will not even save you because the system is already rigged. So toxic power player, you know what they do? They build alliances. They just don't do it within their department. They build it across other, even when you go to a department, another department, they are waiting for you there. So they build cross-cultural, they build cross-functional alliances across department, especially with HR or senior management. They position themselves as untouchable. They are friends with the right people. So who do you want to report them to, for goodness sake? So when someone beneath them raises a concern, the system closes rank on them. It's not what is true, it's about who is talking. Let's look at an illustration. So I brought up my manager's behavior to HR, for example, and they said I was overreacting. Then the same manager goes to lunch with the HR head every week. I knew that I did not stand a chance. This was what someone shared with me some time ago. Favoritism doesn't just silence people, it protects the predator. It protects the predator. Please permit me, I see a long message in the chat room. I don't want to miss it out. So someone says, oh, okay, let me read it out. It said, Dr. Shogo, I like the way you are making, Clara. It says, I like the way you are making it two-sided for self-analysis, especially from the angle of leadership. This will create balanced individuals that will do what they like other people to do to them. Kindly advise on what you said, that keeping quiet. When you experience a leader, it will not help, but it will make things worse. Now, when it is deferred, not directly implied, how do you address that toxicity? For everyone that have attended my series, I beg people to ask me questions. And that's an intelligent question you have asked. But the question you have asked does not also have is not a one size fits all answer. And this is where, guys, listen to me carefully. She asked a very intelligent and relevant and a reality question. You know, back then in university, you will say you went to university, university did not go through you, or you went to school, school did not go through you. It means that you went to school, you did not learn anything. Also in the workplace, some of us, we're in the workplace, we go to the workplace is not going through us. We don't pay attention to patterns. We don't pay attention to the so-called boss in quotes. Everybody have a soft spot. Do you know the soft spot of this man? Do you know when to make your request? Do you know when to enter his office? So a lot of times, the things that he praises other people for, are you paying attention to it so that you can do it and they're no more hard on you? That is one. And I know that there's also the exception part, that some people are just demons because they want to victimize you. That is one. Because one thing I realize is that if your work is excellent, really truthfully excellent, you can't be faulted. Another thing is we owe ourselves personal research. We have our smartphone. Most people's smartphone is smarter than them. We have Google. If you Google, for example, how to deal with a toxic leader, you will see 1,000,001 results. And in reading, you might find what is applicable. There are books titled Dealing with Difficult Bosses. But how many of us have even bought a book this year and you want to rise up in corporate ladder? Have you ever sat down to think that it's only 1% of people in corporate world that rise up to the top of the ladder? People retire mid-level, below mid-level. The ones that rise to the very topmost top, you think they are living like you are living. They attend conferences even when company is not sending them. They invest in books, they invest in themselves, they invest in research. So sometimes, Clara, there's also a place for you to um, research, and you just realize that you're becoming better in handling the person. So for example, if you look at Okay, you have a boss that is difficult. If I ask you, for example, what is the temperament of your boss? You don't even know. I'm talking generally. You don't even know. You don't know whether it's a sanguine, is a choleric, is a melancholy, or is a phlegmatic. So you can go and check, how can I make a phlegmatic boss happy? How can I make a choleric boss happy? Guys, we need to do better, really. We need to do better. Research. You know what the good book said? He said it is the glory of God to conceal a matter, the honor of kings to search out. Research is a life skill, is a lifesaver. I keep saying that statement. Thank you for asking that question. Thank you. I hope you gained some insight. Where were we? I can't even remember. So number three is lack of HR accountability. Lack of HR accountability. And this is the elephant in the room because sometimes HR doesn't always help. So in theory, HR is supposed to be our safe place as employees in every organization. But in practice, many employees see HR as an extension of leadership, not a defender of fairness. So some HR department, they protect the company, not the people. Other HR, they minimize complaint to avoid opening unnecessary investigation. Some use your report even as a gossip folder in leadership circle. And it's not just Africa alone, because when I was doing my research, I found a 2023 workplace survey by Workplace Insight. You know what he said? He said 52% of employees said they didn't trust their HR department to handle internal conflict fairly. 52%, that's huge. And that's over half of the workforce staying silent because the help desk might be part of the problem. So I'm wondering if the people you run to for safety are also loyal to your abuser, silence becomes your safest weapon. Number four, remember we're looking at why people stay silent. The power of isolation and self-doubt. And this is where toxicity hits the deepest because toxic leaders, they just don't attack your work. They attack your sense of reality. They exclude you from key emails. Then they ask you, why didn't you follow instruction? They dismiss your concern with a smile. So you wonder, maybe I'm sensitive. They praise others in public. They ignore you consistently and then say you are imagining it. Gaslighting. When you gaslight employees, when you gaslight your subordinates, it breeds self-doubt. And self-doubt breeds silence. So we looked at why people stay silent, and I shared 4 points. Number one, fear of retaliation or being labeled difficult. Number two, office politics and favoritism. Number three, lack of HR accountability. And number four, power of isolation and self-doubt. I want you to know that silence is not always an agreement. Silence is not always an agreement. It is often a survival strategy. So let's stop asking, why didn't they speak up, and start asking what made them feel unsafe to begin with. Because until we are in L&D, there's something called root cause analysis. Until we address the root causes, we will keep creating an environment where truth is suffocated and toxicity is tolerated. Now let's look at strategies to deal with toxic colleagues that are in power. I think this is interesting. So let's quickly look at that. Strategies to deal with toxic colleagues in power. Strategies to deal with toxic colleague in power. The truth is that when you're dealing with someone who wears toxicity, like a tailored power suit, you need more than courage. You need clarity, you need strategy, and you need a very strong inner compass. This is very important. How do you navigate in a workplace where power protects toxic and punishes the honest? So let me quickly walk you through it and let's see. Number one is professional boundary setting. Number one is professional boundary setting. Professional boundary setting. Because toxic power players, they thrive on blood boundaries. Remember, some can call you at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Me, I don't put on my phone. So they use emotional manipulation, micromanaging, unspoken expectation, like I said, late night urgent emails, urgent calls. So what's your best defense? Your best defense is clear boundaries, and you express it in a calm manner. So you can say something like, I'm happy to revisit this conversation in the morning. I don't take work calls after 7 p.m. My spouse does not like it. It's my personal, I deal with personal issues. My children, this is my time. Just say it in an assertive manner. Then you can put it also, you can say, can you please put it in an email so I can respond appropriately? Because some of these bosses, you see those verbal things that they say, I didn't say it. Let them write it as email. Then you can say, I prefer to be addressed professionally. I find that tone unproductive. So what I'm teaching you is not about being rude. It's about being firm and being factual. Like I said yesterday, boundaries are not walls. They are doors with locks. And let me tell you, you're the one that is holding the key. You're an adult. People should respect your boundaries. Number two, effective documentation and communication. Because toxic leader, there's one thing they rely on, no evidence. So let's change that. Let's start keeping a record of interaction, date, time, what was said or done, and how it affected your work. Forgive me if I'm teaching you mafia moves. It's so bad in some systems. Sometimes just put your phone on record to protect yourself, to protect your name. Put your phone on record. Yes. Oh Lord, the wisdom of the serpent. So it matters because if you need to make a report or escalate, documentation will always speak louder. Documentation will always speak louder. If you need to make a report or escalate a situation, a scenario, because they will ask you, what is the evidence? And it protects you from false accusation or he said this, he said that games. Also try as much as possible to communicate via email or written format whenever it is possible. So you want to say something like after a tense meeting, you want to say, hello, hi, I'm just following up to clarify that my next step is to do this, do this, do that. Let me know if it is incorrect. And even if they don't reply, it's in the book of record that you asked and you worked on what you felt was supposed to be done. So when you can't control what they say, control what you record. Documentation is your digital armor. I want you to know that. Number three, there's also the role of allies and informal support system, guys. No one wins a war alone. You have to be office smart. I spoke about this extensively yesterday. Who is advocating for you when you are not there? Yeah. So you need safe people in unsafe environment. Your allies can be a colleague who witnesses what you are going through, a mentor that can help you see clearly, a team member who affirms your word, a group chat that reminds you that you're not crazy, that this is real. Even if it is just one person who validates your experience, it can help you stay grounded. So look at for others who seem uncomfortable around the same toxic leader. They may be experiencing the same thing, and they're just waiting for someone to break the silence. So the wisdom I will teach you here is that even in darkness, one lantern can keep you from losing your way. Number four, when and how to escalate to HR or senior leadership. And I'm going to be real with you. Going to HR, we agree that it feels scary. So don't walk in emotionally. Walk in prepared. So this is how you should approach it. Bring clear documentation, not just your feelings. Number two, stick to specific behaviors and outcome. On this date, the name of this person did this and it led to this. That express your goal. I want to do my best to work in a safe, respectful environment. So escalate only when you have done your homework, because some HR departments, they protect the brand, not the brave. So if your HR is part of the problem, you want to consider reaching out to senior leadership directly or requesting a mediated conversation with a neutral third party. I have been invited to organization as a neutral party to resolve conflict. I refer to myself personally. Yes. So don't just knock on the door. Know what you are asking for when it opens. Number 5 is knowing when to walk away from an organization and protecting your peace. Because irrespective of the best effort and the strategies I've shared with you, if the environment refuses to change because it is not as if the environment is broken, but the environment was built that way. So in those cases, the bravest thing you can do is to leave. So you want to leave the lies that keep you small. You want to leave the manipulation that makes you second guess your worth and affecting your mental health. You want to leave before that job costs you your joy, your mind, your health. My guys, I need to tell you, no paycheck is worth your panic attack. Let me say that again. Write it down, guys. No paycheck is worth your panic attack. No title is worth trauma, and no power suit is worth your peace of mind. So you want to ask yourself, what will I lose if I stay here a year longer? Then ask, what could I gain if I walk away in pursuit of a healthier future? Walking away doesn't mean you failed. It means you chose yourself, and that is power. I want you to know that you are not helpless. So you are not alone. You are not crazy. You are discerning, and you are done pretending that abuse in a blazer is just strong leadership. No, choose your boundaries, build support, document your truth, speak wisely, and when necessary, exit boldly. It's okay. It's okay. Motivational speakers will say, don't give up on your goal. Don't give up. It's not good to give up. Me, I tell people, give up on your goal when that goal is no more serving you. If you don't need that goal again, it's okay to give up. Strategies to deal with toxic colleagues in power. I hope you gained. So let's look at the role of leadership and HR. The role of leadership and HR. Let me just run through it. One thing I want you to realize is that toxic colleagues in power, they don't rise and thrive by accident. They rise because the system allows it. They rise because they have enablers. They rise because leaders tolerate it. And sometimes HR turns a blind eye. So let's flip the script. If organizations are serious about performance, retention, and well-being, then both leadership and HR must become the architect of accountability. It's important. Number 1, holding power accountable. Holding power accountable. You know the truth. When power goes unchecked, of course, people will get hurt. People will get hurt. So it's easy to manage that intern who misplaced a file, but who manages the manager that causes anxiety attack. So it is easier for you to manage that intern, to manage that misplaced file. But this intern manages a manager that causes him panic attack. So what happens when the bully wears a badge of authority? One thing I want you to know is that great leadership asks hard questions. Listen to me, everyone. You want to ask yourself questions. Are we promoting only results, or do we consider how those results were achieved? That's number 1. Number 2, are high performance protected even if they are toxic? Then number 3, when complaints arise, do we listen or do we protect our friends? This conversation is for HR guys. So accountability must be 360 degrees. Even those in leadership should receive feedback and evaluation, not just bottom level staff. So your title should never become a shield from the truth. Then number 2, HR. It is your job to create a psychologically safe workplaces. Because you see, psychological safety isn't a buzzword. It's actually the bedrock of high-performing teams. A toxic workplace is a workplace where people stay quiet in meetings, honest feedback is punished, errors are weaponized instead of used to grow, everyone smiles, but no one feels safe. So leaders and HR must ask, can people speak up without fear of retaliation? Do we encourage dissenting views and feedback? What do we what do we do when someone says, this isn't working for me? Let me show you what psychological safety means. It means that I can disagree without being destroyed. I can speak up without being sidelined. I can be human without being humiliated. Once again, people don't leave companies. People don't leave companies. They live unsafe conversations they were too scared to have. HR, I'm still talking to you. Number 3 role, building anti-toxic cultures through policy and practice. So if your toxicity values only live on your website, they are not culture, they are just PR. Yes, because real change only comes from policies backed by daily practice. And this is what anti-culture looks like in action. Clear zero tolerance policies. So you can have a clear zero tolerance policy, for example, on bullying, on intimidation, on passive aggression. You want to have regular leadership evaluation by peers, by direct report and HR, anonymous feedback tools that actually lead to change. Mandatory leadership training in emotional intelligence. Someone asked me yesterday during our conversation that I should do emotional intelligence training. I said, I'm not going to do it for free because it's a high level. I'm an emotionally intelligence practitioner. I am licensed. I have a license that I renew. Mandatory leadership is not just leadership, leadership at all levels. Emotional intelligence training, conflict resolution training, trauma-informed management. This is important because policy alone will not fix culture. What you tolerate becomes your real policy. So culture is not what you write in that book on your website. It is what you walk past without challenging. That is the culture. Number 4, let me quickly highlight red flags HR should not ignore. Because HR is the first and last hope for employees facing toxic power. The uncomfortable truth is that sometimes HR becomes the PR department for bad leadership. So let me quickly call out few red flags HR must never ignore. Number 1, repeated anonymous complaint about the same person. Number 2, high-performing teams suddenly experiencing mass resignation is a red flag. Number 3, a leader whose team is always underperforming, but who never reflects. Number 4, patterns of gaslighting. You are too sensitive. They didn't mean it like that. And number 5, employees who are visibly anxious, disengaged, or silenced in meetings. If these patterns emerge, let me tell you, don't wait for a scandal. Intervene. Because what HR ignores today becomes tomorrow's exit interview confession. HR can be a healing room or a courtroom. Choose which one you want your room to be, HR personnel. So if you're in leadership or you're in HR, I want you to understand that you just don't manage people, you manage environment, emotions, and ethical climate. Your silence always gives power to the wrong people, but your courage can restore broken trust, redeem workplace culture, and reignite hope in those who almost gave up. So I want you to lead with awareness as HR personnel, protect policy and act with integrity. Because when leadership leads well, you know what happens? The power suit will lose its toxicity and it becomes a uniform of trust. I have spoken my heart today. You guys just forgive me. But this is just, I mean, it happens every day in the workplace. I will meditate on bullying and sexual harassment in the workplace. We'll talk about it. I'm a reformer. I hope we have gained value. I'll take question and answer, but before I take question, you can connect with me on Instagram. This is my Instagram page at Dr. Shogo. I'm on LinkedIn at Dr. Shogo. So just search me out on Dr. Shogo. This is my WhatsApp number, +2348077552220. That is my website. So feel free. You can take a screenshot of this as well. yeah, then you can connect with me. I have a community on WhatsApp where I teach for free. You can join the community. If you want to join the community, let me quickly share the link. It's for Tanzanians, by the way, and it has been in existence since 2023. So that's 2 years running now, right? Let me quickly copy that link, the WhatsApp link. If you want to join our community, I teach for free in the community. I share updates about our upcoming classes in the community as well. So you have the WhatsApp link here in the chat room. Just click it to join. And it's one of the safest and sanest, very sane community that you will ever belong, because there's no chat, no useless chatting, no banters, no people advertising, no religious post or anything. It's just a strictly learning and development platform. So feel free to join the community. I would love to have you all in the community. If you're not in the community, we're over 500 people. We're almost 600. 500 people cannot be long. I love what Shija, El Shija, I love what she posted in the chat room. I'm just saying it, that the average person spends about 90,000 hours at work over their lifetime, which is roughly 1/3 of their total lifespan. This translates to approximately 13 years and 2 months at work. I'm sure she mentioned this when I was talking about toxicity from above cascading into everyone. And I mentioned that we spend more hours in the office than at home. So sometimes this evil toxicity have actually invaded us, but you're not aware. So you have become a toxic wife, a toxic mother, a toxic aunt, a toxic friend. Even you yourself, you don't know where it's coming from because you have not really sat down to note it. Thank you for that statistics. I'm saying it for the very first time, and this is really eye-opening. 90,000 hours at work. All right. I hope you guys gain value. Please, questions. I'll take 2 questions. Then quickly, thank you, everyone, for joining. Please don't leave yet. You know, in life, we have givers and takers. People just wait for webinar and they just wait that as we come to the close, they start leaving. You are a taker. Calm down. All right. Please permit me to quickly share this with you again. Please, the least you can do for me, the least you can do for yourself, the least you can do to better your organization is to sponsor your staff to attend this conference. If no office is sponsoring you, you owe yourself to develop yourself. Personal development is a personal responsibility that you cannot delegate, you cannot outsource. Sometimes your next level is locked in someone, not necessarily in your office, but when you go to a workshop, when you go to a conference, you meet a destiny helper that can lead you to an investor, yeah. So invest in yourself. If organization is not investing in you, pay for this conference, show up on Saturday. It promises to be an out-of-the-box experience you have never experienced. I know what I am talking about. I know. So, I mean, people have ideas. You don't even know the legal implication of not doing this and that to your idea. Then you say, oh, they stole my idea. They stole my idea. They stole my idea. You have a beautiful concept, no trademark, nothing, So we're going to look at all that, how to fund your ideas, how to brand your ideas, how to make your ideas go global, how to use social currency to amplify your ideas, and a lot of conversations you don't want to miss. Please take a screenshot, invite others. I've shared the registration link. Help me share this flyer with your friends. Share the link, registration link with your communities as well. Don't come alone. Come with your friends. Yeah. So questions, any question? I'll take 3 questions. 3 questions. Clara, if you're still in this meeting, the question you asked and the answer I provided, Was it insightful for you, or you are still not clear? Okay, Robert is asking me a question. He said, Doc, how to deal with it?
Hi, doctor.
Hi, who's speaking? Okay, Clara.
Unfortunately, imagine my connection just got lost. So I'm looking forward to having the recording of this video to follow through on the answer that you gave. So you might have noted that I've been shifting, gadgets. And I was really quickly trying to shift the gadget so that I hear your response. But I will follow through on the recording.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
I'll think about uploading this particular one. All right. So Robert is asking a question, how to deal with it when the leadership itself is toxic. In all honesty, I don't fully understand the question. If you can unmute yourself, is better. So the leadership itself, it could be the leadership of your department. It could be the overall leadership. Ajulon, I'm coming to you. It could be the overall leadership. I would have loved to know. But if you listened very well to the webinar I shared, to the conversation we had, I provided about 5 strategies on how to deal with it. And the last one was that it's okay to exit. It's also okay to exit if it is tampering with your peace. But also, you don't want to exit emotionally. You want to have an exit strategy. Yeah. You don't want to exit and you don't have where you are entering. It's foolishness. Or if you don't want to exit, you want to come up with coping mechanism. Yeah, there's something called coping mechanism. So you can come up with coping mechanism. When you know leadership for what they are and for who they are, you don't even allow their tantrums and their toxicity. You don't internalize it. It doesn't affect you. So you can come up with your own coping mechanism. Like I mentioned when I was also answering Clara's question, I said, you owe yourself to read. Sometimes it's just about reading how to deal with a difficult boss. Sometimes it's about paying attention. What is the soft spot of the leadership? Do I need to make friend with one person inside that leadership? Yeah, inside that senior leadership. For example, if I make a friend as one of them, for example, let me tell you a real life story, real life scenario, and these are all part of office politics. It's toxic, and maybe let's say there are 7 of them. Befriend one of them. Befriend one of them. You can go and meet the person. Oh, I want you to be my mentor, flatter his ego and all the rest. The person becomes your mentor. Then when anybody wants to disturb you, oh, that boy is my son, that girl is my daughter, leave him. We have to be office smart. You need to go and watch the video of yesterday on office politics. It will help a lot. So it can also, the content from that yesterday can help navigate some of these difficulties if you don't want to resign. Okay, John Ruth is asking for the link for the event in Dar es Salaam. Let me show you right away. I will have to look for it quickly. Please, I'm not running away from questions. I'm here, guys. Please, 2 more questions. I'm here. John, you have the link. John wrote Msangi. You have the link. I've posted it again in the group. So that is it. If you have issues with the registration, I'm gonna type a number in the chat room now that you can call or chat and they will sort your registration out. Let me quickly do that. Any other question, guys? Did you guys gain value? Robert, thank you very much. Robert said the pointer is very useful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm happy I could be of little help. All right. So this number, I'm typing it in the group. If you have issues registering on the portal, yeah, that number is Robert. Just call Robert and you will. Aguilon, you have the floor. You are raising up your hand. Please go ahead, sir.
All right. Can you hear me, Doctor?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you so much for this session, and thank you so much for the session that you're putting on YouTube, which
Thank
are
you.
basically so useful. Basically, I am first time joining you through the live session.
Okay.
Because I had one through YouTube, the 7 keys to, you know what I mean, that one. I had to listen to that and finish that and take my notes, as you say, like you have 9 diaries for that. So I'm having the first one, and I'm sure I'll be having more as time goes on. So thank you so much. I just wanted to give you feedback, and everyone here, that what you are basically teaching is way too useful. As I said before, that I just, listen to the first one, the 7 keys in life. And today is my second time, my first time in live session. But I have to tell you that it has already changed my perspective, my attitude, my thinking.
Thanks, sir.
And 37 years, I'm working as a HR for 9 years, but it's
Wow.
like I have to start working as a HR for the first time, this
Thank you,
time
sir.
around. You know what I mean?
Thank you, sir.
Being in the office, trying to supervise people and trying to be sure that people come to you, trust you, and you go on the floor, try to understand their concern. You have the accountants in the office, you have the head of department in the office, which of course they sometimes do not put the staff's shoes, and so they have to work in your office. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So when you tell me today that there is a lot of leadership in the HR, and that today that you're mentioning to us that the HR office should be a psychological safe place,